Welcome to a series of videos that aim at helping you to understand the core values of Lincoln Avenue Baptist Church. And I'd like to begin today describing what I would call the core of the core, and that is the surpassing glory of Jesus Christ. There's a phrase that we use at Lincoln Avenue to describe that, and it's the little phrase, Jesus is better than anything. As we look through the Scriptures, we see that the whole Bible is about Jesus. The whole Bible seeks to reveal His coming and His cross and His ultimate victory, His glory. And we believe what the Catechism says about Jesus, that He is the first and the best of beings. Everything in life that's satisfying, everything in life that is good, that is beautiful, that is majestic, that's powerful, all of that is just a shadow of the one who is truly glorious, and that is Jesus Christ. We look through the Scriptures and we find these great passages that describe for us who the person of Jesus Christ is. One of my favorites is in Colossians chapter 1, where it says, He is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of all creation. For by Him all things were created in heaven and on earth, visible or invisible, whether thrones or dominions or rulers or authorities. All things were created through Him and for Him. And He is before all things, and in Him all things hold together. And He is the head of the body, the church. He's the beginning, the firstborn from the dead, that in everything He might be preeminent. And so we're convinced that if people know who Jesus is, if they see His glory, they're going to want Him. And they're going to want to know about Him, and they're going to want to give their life to Him, and they're going to want to be joined to Him. They're going to see that He's worth giving everything to have. Jesus gave a parable in the book of Matthew chapter 13, verse 44, that describes what it's like to be in the kingdom of heaven. And being in the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of God is Jesus' reign over our hearts. It's having Him as your king. And in verse 44 of chapter 13, He says, The kingdom of heaven is like a treasure hidden in a field, which a man found and covered up. And then in his joy, he goes and sells all that he has, and he buys that field. And so Jesus describes a man who's walking, maybe home from work, maybe going to work, and he stumbles upon a treasure that's buried. Maybe he kind of trips over the corner of it, and as he bends down and as he begins to uncover the treasure, he begins to see with great delight that this is the most valuable thing he's ever seen in his life, and more valuable than he could ever imagine. And so he covers it up, and he covers it up so that he can go home and sell all that he has, everything that he's got, all this stuff that's been his treasure all of his life. Now he's willingly and joyfully parting with, so that he might come back and buy the field and have the treasure. And we're convinced that is who Jesus is. Jesus is the treasure worth giving everything for. And so what that's done in our church is it's made us very, what we would call Christ-centered. We aim at teaching about Jesus and describing who Jesus is and proclaiming Jesus and illustrating Jesus and exalting Jesus and lifting Jesus up, because we believe that Jesus is greater than anything.